Alright guys, this is like the second time I'm doing this. I actually did a lesson earlier. When I tried to edit that, I somehow deleted that file. It's not great. So let's do it, let's get it done, let's do this quick. As I said in class today, some of you learned the quadratic formula, then some of you learned the factoring method. But then seemingly a lot of you do not have both. So one way or the other, please check this out. And if you're missing one part of it, you need both, because this one normally is much easier to deal with. So first of all, if you're going to do this, I would call this the cross method because I like that big cross in the middle. What you're trying to achieve is you're finding the factors for the first coefficient, which is 1, and the last coefficient is actually 36. And your goal is you want to find a combination of this as multiplication and some add or subtract. You're trying to get to your coefficient b, -9. So somehow your goal is to have this as set up in the beginning. You know you want to write down -9. You're trying to find the coefficients that go with it. So let's say 1 is quite simple. This just the only two numbers multiplied together to get 1 is 1 and 1. 36, that could be a couple of them, so we'll just write that out. 1 times 36, 2 times 18, 3 times 12, 4 times 9. That's basically it. This list, or this 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 12, 18, 36, they're all the factors of 36. So what I want to do is I want to find if a pair of numbers, put it over here, 136, and somehow I can get to -9. So let's look at each individual case. 136 is not going to work. The reason for that is 1 times 1 is 1. I'll just do it over here. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 36 is 36. Will I ever be able to get to my -9? No, because that two numbers can either give you like a 35 or a 37, positive or negative. Whichever way that is going to go, it's not going to be your -9. So cross that out. 2 and 18, if I put 2 and 18 over here, will that work? So 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 18 is 18. It will not get to my -9 because 2 and 18 can either give me a pair of 16 or 20. It's not -9, so that can be out as well. Because I've been doing this for a very long time, I know that 3 and 12 is going to work. 1 times 12 is 12. 1 times 3 is 3. Now, I know that they're going to give me some sort of 9. It's just like we have to figure out the positive and negative. So if I want to get to a -9, I need a positive 3. I need a -12. Alright, we need that too. So this plus and minus, or this positive and negative, is very important because it helps us to read the answer. So basically I'm saying that 1 times 3, like this path, when you multiply them, I want to get to a positive 3 over there. So that will tell me that the sign over here is going to be a positive. 1 times 12, we are going to get to a -12, so we are going to have a -12. Alright, so you'll get this cross, you'll get those plus, you'll get those minus. The key is we have to learn how to read the answer. How to read the answer is not too bad. You read it, not eat it, sorry. You read it per row. So I basically put a parenthesis around them. Each of these is going to be a parenthesis. 1x plus 3. So I'm not going to write the 1x, so it's just x plus 3. Second parenthesis is going to be x minus 12. X minus 12. So as far as the factoring go, this is done. You're done factoring. Okay. One way to check the answer is to multiply this number, the 3, and the -12. So let me highlight them because I think people don't know how to check this. So you want to multiply this and this number. Multiply this 2 and see if I can get to -36. So 3 times -12 is going to be negative 36. So I have at least one checking done. So don't just leave it sitting there. I don't need you to expand the whole thing, but at least check the last two numbers. When you multiply them, if you get negative 36, then yeah, you're good. So after that, you have to do one more step, because if they say it's a zero product, that means this whole thing is equal to 0. Then each of these individual bracket is going to turn into something meaningful. So it's either this one is equal to 0. If that one is equal to 0, then my x has to be negative 3. Or this one is equal to 0, x minus 12 is equal to 0. Then x has to be equal to 12. So if x is equal to negative 3 or x is equal to 12, I will get my solution 0. So 0 product property basically was that if the question only asks you for factoring, when you get to this part, you're done. But if they want you to find the 0 product, you have to go for one more step. You actually have to find the x itself. So that's the first question. Alright, moving right on. Second question, this one is a little bit tricky. This question is the reason why I had to edit my video, but I'm not going to dive into it because you're going to see very, very soon. So this time I want to do something a little bit different. Instead of blue, I'm just going to use my green, because I want to save the blue and the red for something else. So 5. If the first coefficient, the a, is not going to be, is a prime number, in this scenario is a prime number, there's not much you can change about the 5. The prime number, the only two numbers multiply together to get a prime number, so it's gotta be 1 and 5. For 6, not too bad. For 6, there are a couple things we can do. We are just gonna do that in green and say 6 is 2 times 3 at least, 1 times 6. Alright, 1 times 6, 2 times 3. So in this scenario, you have to check a few things, because there could be quite a few combinations out there that may get me to that positive 13. So always set that up in the beginning. That's where you want to get to. So I have 1 and 6. I will try 1 and 6 because why not? So 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 6 is 6. I will not be able to get to a 13 with this. Okay, I can get to 11, I can get to a negative 1 or 1, but I'm not going to get to my 13. So that pair, nah, cannot do that. May want to change the order of this though. We're going to do 6, 1, just in case. 5 times 6 is 30. 1 times 1 is 1. This pair can either get me like a 29 or 31. It's not going to be a 13, so I can say goodbye to it. Bye. Then we get to 2 and 3. So we're going to do the 2 and 3. I'm going to use blue. 2 and 3. 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 3 is 3. It's going to get to my 13. Definitely. Plus, plus. So for the things that are blue, everything is plus. So 5 times 2 is a plus 10, so it's a positive. 1 times 3 is a plus 3, is a positive. So if I read my answer, it's going to be x plus 2. Don't miss this 5. 5x plus 3. Now, from the previous example, I actually said you may want to check the last bit. Remember what I highlighted earlier? You may want to check this 2 number. You multiply them, positive 2, positive 3. You times them together, you get a positive 6, which is not the same as my negative 6. So this is not correct. This is not correct. So this combination of 2, 3, that's not correct. Then you may be thinking, well, then what can we do? Let's try it the other way around, as 3 and 2. I want to erase that 2 and 3 because I know it's not working. I don't want to confuse any one of you. So 2 and 3 is not working. After all those hard work, I'm just going to try 3 and 2 this time. 3 times 5 is 15, 1 times 2 is 2, get to a positive 13. Of course I can do that, plus and minus, plus, minus. So when I read the answer on the right hand side is x plus 3 and 5x minus 2, right? So let's double check and see if it works again. 3 times negative 2, negative 6, good. So I actually factor it correctly. The problem with not checking is that if you don't check it, if you use the zero product, they will give you a very different x, right? So now using the zero product, first one, x is equal to negative 3. Second one, I'll show you a little bit more. Let's make it. So 5x minus 2 is equal to 0. So 5x is going to be 2. Divide both sides by 5. Don't skip that step, whoever that was. So for the real answer, x is equal to negative 3 and x is equal to 2 over 5. Just always check, just keep that in mind. I know after doing the factoring, you find a pair, you feel very content with yourself, and you won't check. Just always check, okay? When you have the factor, when you have the two parentheses, just do one more step, check it if it's correct, then carry on with the zero product. If it's not correct, then somewhere in that whole process of thinking about factors, you may be missing something. So this is the only video I'm gonna do, possibly. And so for those people who may have to redo one part of it or the other, hopefully this help. Okay, that's all I have to say. Bye for now.